Hello, friends. It's very early in the morning. I'm just finishing my coffee and just rolled out of bed, and the sun's come up. If you can call that in England, the sun. So, anyway, I just want to talk to you briefly about this is part of my little Musings series. That we're told that as we get older, we descend into states of decrepitude. But if you look at, I dare say yourself, and certainly in my own story, sorry about the attire, by the way. um, that I'm better at many things now than I was in the first half of my life. I'm a better musician. I even do the garden better. I'm a better writer. I've got like an arse load of books. Um, I do everything better and better at all things. I can't really think of anywhere where I'm not as skilled or as good as I used to be. In fact, there's a house over the back there, just behind the big tree there, and it's just been re-roofed. The scaffold's still up. So you got the old guy, and he's got a couple of apprentices. There's three of them doing the roof, both sides of the pitch, felt and batten tiles, replace the tiles, and put new ones on or slates. Anyway, and I was watching him. I'm thinking he's a much better roofer now than he ever was, and his young apprentices who are probably pushing 30 are still slow compared to him. He's like with the nail gun all the way down. He's got them all stacked up and he's throwing them around and catching them and just basically like a pack of cards, just like throwing them out. He did the whole roof in a day. So, we get better as we get older. I used to be in the motor trade, service and repair. There's a couple of old mechanics now. I know they're better. If I take my car if I have to take it for mechanical service and repair, I don't want to see the young guy. I want to see the old guy. Because I know he's going to listen to it, and from experience, he's going to be much better. I prefer older people, right? I'm sorry, younger people, but I'm just saying that we're ranked on when we get into the second half of the latter stages of our lives. We're told that we're not as good. Now, being struck down or life visiting you or doing something bad to you, all that notwithstanding, you still are a better person than you were before in many, many ways, I would suggest. I recently read a book, I think it's called Second Act, and it goes into like septuagenarians and octogenarians who've achieved greatness at that stage of life more than they ever had before. So you got to see yourself as a fine wine, or like a tree that matures and blossoms and becomes stronger, more pleasing to the eye, functioning better in a natural way. And like, as I say, like a fine wine. Instead of, we're told that we get worse as we get older, and I hate that. And it's not just because, you're trying to cling on to some kind of youth or something. And ignore people who say, they look at an early picture of you and they may say, a lot of people get upset because someone says, what happened to you, or something like that. I mean, ignore those people, stay away from them. You actually look better as you get older. And, people who've got wrinkles and aged and all that, right? You've earned those wrinkles and all that aging. That's your character. And there's nothing wrong with it. You only have to Google, I'm not a fan of Hollywood, but say look at Hollywood stars, which are held up as the epitome of beauty and perfection, of course. But you look at the ones who didn't do anything like, I think it was Audrey Hepburn, and I can see her in my head, but I can't think of the woman's name. But anyway, they just, never had anything done. And they look better. And you look at the ones who've had everything done, look like something out of a freaking wax museum. Scary. All right, and so don't forget, friends, you get better as you get older, okay? Don't let them kid you. And it's natural arrogance for younger people to say, are you cracking on? I mean, I worked in video and film editing for a long time. And you have all these freaking embryos, I call them. Didn't have a clue how to edit features or anything. I'd be in the studio and they'd just be laughing at me as the old guy. And yet I was owning their arses. You know, I was putting out so many features a day, and they hadn't even done one. You know, they come in at like 10 o'clock in the morning, but like they think they're better. And there is this arrogance with youth, which is natural. You know, I'm not saying anything wrong with it. I was quite arrogant in certain areas myself when I was younger. And sometimes I think back and think, you know, God, you needed a good slap there, boy. But anyway, all that, as I say, notwithstanding, you get better as you get older, and don't let them kid you otherwise. And congratulations on finding this video and, dare I say, this channel. So until next time, friends, don't forget, keep on thinking freely. Okay.